and thanks for watching. For the Looking Back series, I'm Marianne Pleva. Programs in this series feature local people who, I believe, have led extraordinary lives. Our guest today spent much of her career in the world of banking. In addition, she has served as the second select person in Essex and worked as the assistant town clerk in Essex for several years. I am pleased to welcome to our program today, Florence Dutka. Welcome, Florence.
Well, thank you, Vivian. Thank you for having me here.
Well, I'm delighted that we finally get to do this program. We've talked about it for some time, haven't we?
A long time.
So I've prepared a lot of questions. I think we should get right to it. So what brought your grandparents to, I know that you're a lifelong Essex resident, and your parents, were they lifelong?
My grandparents were from Brooklyn, New York.
Uh-huh.
And they came up there as visitors to, meet people, and decided they liked it here. So my grandfather gave up his business, was making barrels in New York, and they bought a house here on the Saybrook Road.
I see.
And dirt road, of course. And I was born here then, after my folks moved up to live with them.
I see. So now, did he do farming, or did he continue to do his trade?
No, it was a small farm, but he probably worked at it. But he just came up here to enjoy.
Okay. He was a gentleman farmer.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And you said he made barrels. And then where did you live when you were growing up?
Well, I was born there in that house. And then I lived, I don't know how many people recognize Racket Lane in Essex. So until I was 3, my folks moved into that place. That was for the foot of the hill to Fander's Bakery.
Okay.
And then then we moved up on Gates Road.
Okay, Gates Road, and I think we have a picture, and I hope, Florence.
With that dog.
Okay, now, no, look at that picture. I hope that's your Gates Road house. Do I have the correct house? Uh-oh. Maybe not. Huh? No, that's not it. No. That's Gates Road. Okay.
Well, that's all right.
Okay.
All my life was spent between that space. I didn't move very far in this world or get very far.
Okay.
Rented houses on that road.
Okay.
And
so when you were growing up, you lived on Saybrook Road. It's the Harmon Tooker house?
Yes.
And we have a picture. There's a picture of that now. I know. I have it.
Yes, that's it. And that just broke my heart when the gentleman that bought that, because that's one of the oldest houses in Essex.
And it was a beautiful old house.
4 great fireplaces and everything. Of course, an old house,
Yeah.
When we bought it, we had to go outdoors to the bathroom.
Oh, really? 1830s or something?
It was old. And but no one then finally bought it, so the gentleman that owned it just had it removed.
I know, it was very sad.
Yes, it was very sad for me.
Yeah.
But then I lived in that house until my husband got through in the service, and we built the house we're in now, and I'm in it 70 years where I am now.
Great, we're going to show that in just a little bit, that picture of the house that you're in, that your husband helped build. So somebody told me that your parents were named Florence and Joe.
Yes, well, that was very common. And when I was growing up, and any people I know of my age, whatever Dad's name was, when son was born, if he was Joe, son was Joe. And that's where you get a lot of your juniors now, senior, junior. And mother's was the same thing. My mother was Florence, so I was Florence.
That's interesting, because I've only known a few women, I've known a lot of men, but a few women that were named after their moms.
Well, I said my mother got her name because when her mother had her, in those days they didn't plan ahead for your children. I'm talking about maternity. But when she had my mother, she had picked out a name. So someone said, well, just open a book and the first female name, name your child. So really? My mother was named then Florence, so therefore.
Oh, interesting.
And it was Big Florence and Little Florence. And
Yeah,
all,
no
that's how it
junior.
went. And with fathers and then sons, the
Yeah.
same thing.
Right, junior or the third.
That's right.
So
Or just Big or Little.
I'm being assisted by the character generator here that will move on to the other question. But anyway, where did you go to school? Let's talk about your school years. Where did you first go to school?
Right in Essex. Of course, we didn't have such a thing as kindergarten then.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went on the hill. There again, our church, a few years back, was on their property. They bought my grammar school, broke my heart. Because in the meantime, they've taken the old historical building down, but that's where I went to grammar school.
Right. That's kind of remarkable. Two buildings with such significance to you
to me,
were taken
in my
down within a couple of
lifetime.
years.
Because at that time we had to use, when we got graduation, we had to use the town hall, which was down across from Baptist Church. And we didn't have room in school, so we had to have our affairs.
So how did you get to school? Did you walk or?
No, we were very fortunate. Anyone that lived within a mile and a half, I believe it was, would get picked up. If you lived, then you walked.
Picked up by a bus?
We got picked up by bus, yes.
Okay.
But the other people had to walk.
Yeah, isn't that something?
So we were very fortunate.
School buses. I didn't think there were school buses back then.
Well, we got that somehow.
Yeah.
Because parents there weren't many cars either.
Yes, right.
Who would take children.
Right. But you could have rode your bicycle, right? Okay. So how many kids were in your class? Did you have a large class?
Very well, a few in the whole school, really. About 38 in the, when we got to high school. Maybe you'll have some pictures.
Yeah, we do. Oh, there's a
small
picture.
amount.
There's a picture of your class, and I think you were the second
they
row.
took down. I'm in the very
About the third or fourth.
front row, I think.
Third child.
I've forgotten now where I
Fourth
sat in
row.
there.
Now, I did see one picture. One of the pictures had the circle around you, so it was,
Yes.
it was easier to find.
That was
But-
grammar school, and we had,
So
as
this-
I say, it was a nice little school.
And the old Essex Elementary School,
That's
which
the one
later
they-
became a convalescent home, I guess.
Yes, it did. Yes, it, and that's the one we finally took down because it was going to be an expense to have the whatever it is, gases in the places better than else.
But it was bought because I think they thought that they might
we were
make a
gonna make
school.
use of it, yes.
Yeah, well, that's
Yes, make use
unfortunate
of-
how that all played
That's
out.
right. Yeah.
But now there's a picture here of you, and oh, there it is. I just love this picture. So,
Yes.
So tell me about this special pet of yours.
That
Everything you know about that dog.
Well, I don't really remember because that picture there, I was probably well, we left that house when I was 10. So if maybe I was 10 on there, but we always had dogs and loved them. And to my lifetime, we always, my husband and I, we always had dogs and big dogs. And
that dog would meet you after school? Would it wait for you?
with us all the time.
And greet
yes.
you, yeah. That's great. Now, what did you were a good student, right?
I loved
Yeah. What did you like?
schoolwork. Anything except arithmetic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was my worst subject. And what did I go into? Banking.
That's my downfall too, and I would never have been so brave as to go into banking.
No, and I love to read and study
Yeah.
and write and anything to do with school. I
Right.
loved.
And did you have some special teachers that you liked when you were?
Well, there again, we were very, very fortunate. I don't think all the teachers were there like nurses years ago. They were nurses because they loved nursing.
Yeah.
And the teachers there we had were just fabulous.
Yeah. That's
And all
great.
had been teaching other places a long time.
Yeah. Wonderful. Probably less
I
students
was very
there, too.
fortunate.
Yeah. So we have a picture of your high school.
Yes.
Well, this is a drawing, and I think it grew from there. That was a drawing that I found in one of the yearbooks.
Oh, really?
That's,
Looks like you're on fire.
now town hall. It does look a little from here like it's on fire. But I think we have another,
Yeah, that's
now
the
that's
back
more
of it.
recognizable.
Yes.
But it's funny to see that because it's just a field behind
Yeah, and
it.
that's, yes, but that school really went over and touched the field with the map of the grammar school. They were owned by the same places.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I never
Yes,
thought
they
about
really
that.
did.
Yeah.
Because we used, at the grammar school, we used a back that didn't belong to us for different games.
So now too, it looks so different with
Yes,
the
that's
playground equipment, and there's a trail
Yes.
and tennis courts and all that kind of stuff.
Yes,
But,
yes, so
I
that
don't
was
see a
Pratt High
picture
School, yes.
of the back of the school. So, did you win some special awards ever when you were in high school?
Well, that's how I got my job at the bank.
Oh, really?
Yes, because the gentleman that was at Essex National Bank, he had a habit of when they needed to hire help, he would just waltz up at graduation night, and whenever he'd hear, he'd list to hear who won the business award. And he wouldn't say a word, but the next day, I happened to win the business award. So the next day, he appears at my mother's house, asked if I want a job.
Well, that's an easy way to get a job,
That was it. And already there was another girl from Pratt High School that was already working there, and she got her job the same way.
Oh, wow. So you got your job at the bank.
Without having to apply or
Yeah.
anything.
Well, he had a lot of confidence in you, and I think it worked out pretty well, didn't it?
Yeah, but I
After
love the bank.
many
I really
years.
love the bank.
Many years. But I was going to ask you, did you work when you were going to high school?
Well, I never had a job. I don't think you could work. It's just that, like the hardware store that was in Essex at the time, they would, if they wanted someone to work after school, just maybe sending out bills or hours work maybe a week. They just came to school and asked you as any student.
Okay, now I hope this is the hardware store that you worked at.
Yes.
Is that,
It was, when it first moved to Essex, or when it came to Essex, it was
wasn't quite
downstairs.
sure.
Not upstairs, it's downstairs.
Yeah, it's such a pretty building, and I know that it was a store at one time. Now they're real estate agents in there.
Yes, after it was always a store they have.
So did you get, were you a volunteer, or did you actually get paid?
Oh, no, they just came to the classrooms, I guess, and asked if somebody wanted to go down and work an hour maybe once a week after school.
So
and I guess I'm loving stuff that, I must have said yes. You got too far back to remember how I did it, or how I decided. But I said, and so that's what I did.
But they paid you? You were paid for that hour or two?
Yes. It wasn't very much.
Yeah, probably not.
Not very much.
Kept you in a little
Even when I went to
spending
the
money.
bank.
You weren't making much there either?
Never had a job. Always had a job that was a good sounding job, but never a lot of pay.
Okay, okay. Well, back then, what should I say? Men were paid a little more than women, but I think things are changing, right?
Oh, yes, definitely.
I just want to show the other building that was across from the hardware store that you told me, what is it, Dr. Baldwin?
Oh, that's Dr. Baldwin. He was a dentist there.
So
there were two dentists in town. In the theater building, the dentist. There was, dentist, Dr. Wynn.
Okay. And Dr. Baldwin here.
He was full of everything.
Everybody knows.
Yes.
We're getting all the pictures.
Okay,
so talk about this, the bakery.
Well, that was right at the head of my foot. People, all I remember was the father and the son. The rest of the family came from Germany.
Yeah.
And they were bakers, and they were fabulous. You didn't have a big choice, but whatever they made you do was good. And after a while, the son of the gentleman did get married to a woman around town. Well, that's when the good times ended, because they were the kind of bakery was that baker's dozen. If you went in for a dozen something, you got 13. But you always hated to see his wife when she was there selling you anything, because you just got your dozen.
Oh, is that right? So you didn't want to go in when
this bakery lasted forever. And food was just good. And even after that, when I was married and moved to the house that was Sunday. You couldn't go without, you had big Sunday dinner, but Sunday night, had to run up to Fanda's and get the bakery.
Yeah, that's great. I wish it was a good bakery like that still around.
Yeah, it was excellent.
Let's see, what year did you graduate from Pratt High School?
1941.
1941, and I think we have a picture of, I had to search around to find the 1941. Oh, there you are.
Oh, that's terrible. I always thought that's a terrible picture.
So, this is this is some, I don't know what it said. It's
was that my husband's picture?
But I think, no, that's you.
That's
you.
me?
And then right next to you is Dick Riggio.
Oh,
and
Dick
I think
Riggio.
it's so interesting because you were in the same class in the same club,
Yes,
but then you were select people together, right?
Yes, we graduated together.
And then you worked together.
The first year for
and you're sitting together right here in that picture.
Oh, how about that?
So we have a whole bunch more questions to get to, but before we do, we're going to take a short break.
Every day, the people in our community rally in support of United Way as we strive together to make a big impact to change lives in Middlesex County. From our main streets to our institutions, from our neighborhoods to our town halls and our classrooms, we're working with our partners to create a stronger community. It's an inspiring effort, and we invite you to join us. Volunteer, donate, live united.
Looking for Connecticut's best ride? You'll find it at the Closer to Free Ride. On September 10th, ride an inspiring 10, 25, 62.5, or 100 miles. Every dollar you raise supports research and care at Smilow Cancer Hospital at Yale, New Haven. This is your ride. Register today at rideclosertofree.org and help bring our world closer to free.
Well, welcome back. That was an interesting PSA. And I'm here again with Florence Dutka, and so happy to be here. And I know she's so happy to be here with me.
Oh, yes, I am.
Okay, so we talked about how you found your first job, so it didn't take you very long.
No.
No, because they kind of recruited you right out of high school.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And it was a bank, too, that if you were, did you work? You know you would be there forever. Mm-hmm. You know, it was one of those, if somebody quit or moved on or died or something, and you wanted their job, you just...
So you stayed there for a long
time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't stay there long, but, you know, I got pregnant after 5 or 6 years. And then I did stay home.
Yeah.
But then they kept calling me back when somebody would go on vacation or be sick. They'd say, you want to come in and work, help us out, and I would do it.
So the name of that bank was?
Essex National.
And the bank that's in there now, here's an old
I don't know what, I don't know what.
I think it's Liberty, and here, you can look, because we have it. That's it, right?
Oh, yes, that's the same, except we never had that side for you to come out and get money. See, on the
you
side,
didn't have that side,
no,
right?
never had that,
And then apparently, Mr. Bevan told me this, there was a house next door to that.
Oh, no, that was more than a house. It was a 3-story building in there with a parking area. And that was just one of the buildings. It was all the way, both Essex were completely stores.
Yeah, I know.
Completely stores. And that was called Lowe's Tavern. And it was on one side, it was a tavern. On the other was food and stuff.
Yeah.
And upstairs, and then one year a woman opened up a dress shop, and then they did take it down.
So what were some of your duties? What were your first duties when you worked at the bank?
Well, you did get a laugh at that. When I first went into the bank, I was called clerk, and that was my title. And my first job was sharpen pencils down the stairs and dust if somebody had not, worked there. But that, too, is a place that we had to be there half an hour before we could go into the bank.
Yeah.
The boss always had to go in, make sure we hadn't had any robbers in there, sitting there and waiting for us. So that was always our first half hour we gave the bank for nothing.
And I'll bet you excelled at that job of pencil sharpening and dusting.
wasn't my favorite.
But you moved on.
Yeah.
So, but I bet there was a dress code. So what kind of?
Oh, definitely dress code.
No short skirts, right? Or no pants, I
No
should say.
pantsuits.
Probably you could have worn a short skirt.
No, you couldn't wear a short
Okay.
skirt. And you couldn't wear a pantsuit.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be a skirt. And heels and stockings.
Yeah, yeah. That was a lot
Oh, it
different
was a
than
dress
it is today.
code, definitely.
So, since it was a commercial bank,
Commercial.
did they loan money to women that were?
No.
No.
No, we were not allowed to have, get loans. While I was still working there, it did. I think I first saw the first woman that come in, she owned the peddler down on the corner, that she was given a loan.
She got a loan, okay.
And yet, in the book that John McCartney made,
Yeah.
it says in the house that this gentleman took down of my mother's, it says that she bought the house, got a mortgage in the savings bank. I never could figure that one out.
I don't figure that out. I was just going to ask you before we move on from the bank, is that where Bill Bevan worked? With the
Oh, yes, Bill Bevan, yes. Terrific, fabulous boss.
Well,
Very fabulous boss.
well, Bill is being our camera person today, so he's getting that compliment. So, all right, you mentioned that you had children. When you married, when were you married?
1943.
And we have a photo of your husband.
I think it's in girls'
Oh, there
school.
he is. He's like 1, 2, 3, the fourth one in the back row, and
Yes, he was
looks
very.
like quite a catch to me.
Oh, he sure was. I always said I never knew what he saw
Yeah.
in me because he was really handsome.
And you had 2 children.
2 boys.
And you took some time off.
Oh, yes, when I had the oldest
Yeah.
one, I stayed home. It was 5 years later.
And I just want to show, and there's a picture of your husband that was
Oh,
in the
that's when he
paper
retired.
Okay.
He worked at the Connecticut Light and Power. But then he got very sick at the end and he had to retire. But he'd been there 32 years.
And he helped build the house you're in now. And we're gonna
Yes, when
show a
he
picture
was,
of that.
He was in the Navy for 6 years. So at after the war was over, then he was able to, he was still at the base, but he could come home. So my brother, who lived next door, he was a carpenter, so he would come home, start my house, and my husband would go up and help him. So the 2 of them built the house.
We're running a little short on time, but I did want to get to why you ran for select person, because that's an elected. Do you know?
Well, that was a case of getting back to Essex being such a small place. When I was in the bank working, they asked me would I be tax collector, run for tax collecting. Just because, see, they knew you from the bank. Oh, she could do the taxes. Let's have her do it. But someone else that they wanted it. So and then so I couldn't run for it. So the same thing. They decided, would I run, when I was still in the bank, would I run for select person?
And then you became the town clerk, because I have this great shot of the ball.
Oh,
now there's your old office, right? Your old office.
Oh, yes,
Except they remodeled a little bit.
Oh, yes.
And so you worked a lot in the vault. That's where all the records were kept.
Oh, yes.
And let's see. Oh, I have to get 2 more questions in. So tell me about your church. It's very special to you.
Oh, definitely. I joined the church when I was in high school. But I was already christened and all that stuff. But that wasn't the one that you see in the pictures. So not the first Catholic church. And I was christened as the one that burned down, and then some people gave money to fix up our church the way it is. But I joined, there were 2 groups there, I joined one. And so I joined everything. I don't care what it was to do with the church.
Okay, great.
I was in it.
That's wonderful. We just have a little time left, but I just want to ask you, what's so special about living in Essex?
Well, I think and I was learning something from Bill Dutka. I have to talk to him later, find out some things he seems to know about it. The thing in Essex, what more could you ask for? There were churches all over the place. Any denomination, we had a church. The schools were very good there. You'd get a job anywhere because every store had needed help. There were 5 and dimes, believe it or not.
I know, everything
There
was
were
there.
Linen shops.
Right, right.
Any place that you wanted selling food. So you didn't have to go anywhere else if you wanted to buy a pair of socks or a pair of shoes. Or go to a dentist or a doctor.
Right, and it's still great today, right?
All right. Well, I don't get down because I haven't been able to drive it out for a long time. So I don't see probably a lot. Oh, there's a lot I'm sure that I miss.
I'm getting a cue that we're sort of out of time. So this brings us to the end of our program, which I hope you have enjoyed. If you would like to be a guest on this program or host this program, please email me at Conteza, C-O-N-T-E-Z-S-A, @gmail.com. And thanks for our crew today, Bill Cook, Bill Bevan, Ken Butterworth, Victoria Chong, Chris Morgan, and a special thanks to Terry Garrity, who provided the inspiration for the series. And a most special thanks to Florence Dutka for sharing her wonderful life and her memories of life in Essex with us. For Looking Back, I'm Mary Ann Pleva. Oh, and thanks for watching.